Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Super Bowl champions. We are finally to the final snapshot. I am super pumped. I got through the entire snapshot series, all 32 teams, and I made it before the league year opens. Today, we're going to focus on a team that has one of the best dominating defense and offensive lines. How did they win the Super Bowl? How did they overcome arguably one of the worst coaches in the NFL? What did they do? Well, let's take a look. Here we go, guys. All right, guys, welcome back in. I know Ritter has been waiting for this one. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Super Bowl champions. I've watched a lot of different videos this week from the Super Bowl, the sidelines, the aura around the team in general through the year. And I've got some pretty good ideas of how this team won it all. At the end of the day, the team played amazing. At the end of the day, the defensive line with 2 really high draft picks, then a 3rd really high draft pick, then a 4th just veteran coming back for the Super Bowl. This team was built to win the Super Bowl this past season. They were built to do what Baltimore wants to do. They were built to do what a lot of teams are now trying to replicate. Their biggest test in playoffs was the Los Angeles Rams, where they got out-coached. The game flat out was a coaching advantage to the Rams. There's no way in the world the Rams should have been in that game. Not a chance. But they were. They got out coached. In the Super Bowl, the flaws mattered. I had been saying all year the Kansas City Chiefs were a flawed football team. If somebody would have done exactly what I had been saying all along, the Chiefs would go down. And the Eagles did it. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Milton, Josh Sweat, Zach Bond, Cooper DeJean, which I still am pissed off that the Colts didn't go get. Quinyon Mitchell just falls into their lap. My gosh. Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, James Bradbury. Listen, they were the team, like the Patriots team that won the Super Bowl, with Harrison and Sayal, Bruschi, Vrabel. You had stars, and the stars came out in the Super Bowl. And the stars played. But the stars are young. They were rookies. They were second-year guys. That's why I think you've got a chance to have success if your coach doesn't screw it up. Looking at this year, heading into right now, they already re-signed Zach Bond, which is a shock. I did not think they would spend that much money on a linebacker. I really didn't. But because they have Vic Fangio coming back, I believe Jeff Lowry, Howie Roseman both understand this team is going to run through the defense. We have got to keep Nick Sirianni from screwing up our team. They still don't like him as the head coach. Don't get any misconceptions. They know he's not a good head coach. They know what they've built is really strong. Kellen Moore, if there's one thing I can say for him, he knew what to lean on. We'll get to some of the NFL news here at the end as we close it out. But Kellen Moore had a great offensive plan. It's called Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts only throwing the ball 20 times a game because he's a Joe Flacco. He's a Brad Johnson, a Trent Dilfer. He's not going to win you the game. Yeah, he played great in the Super Bowl. They got there despite his shortcomings. And in that Super Bowl, they just flat out had Kansas City outmatched. It was completely outmatched. They dominated. They should have. I had said it multiple times through the year. On paper, them and the Detroit Lions were 1 and 2, and you can argue which one's 1 and which one's 2. For now, since they won the Super Bowl, Philadelphia was 1. This team can have success in the future, but the road gets harder because the NFC got stronger. And free agency hasn't even started yet. And the NFC got stronger. So let's look at 2024 real fast. What were they? They were the 8th best offense in the league. They were 29th in passing. Take the hint. Jalen Hurts wasn't the reason they had success. Saquon Barkley was. They were 2nd in rushing. They averaged 367 yards a game, 188 through the air, and 179 on the ground. That's the Philadelphia Eagles. They are the New York Jets with Rex Ryan. They just didn't run into Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. You don't have that in the NFC. So you can go to a Super Bowl. And then when you get there, you get an outmatched team. It works. Defensively, they were number 1 in the NFL, and this is why I believe they're going all in on what they're doing defensively. They know if they can keep Bond and they can keep Sweat, this defense can carry this team. The front 4 can handle the entire game by themselves. They know that. They believe in Vic Fangio. It was a little rocky through the early part of the year. It's a new system. This is my rule. And if you guys have listened for any length of time, you know this. I give everybody 6 weeks. September, you've got to be able to win. Okay, Zach Taylor for the Bengals can't win in September. That sets you behind the 8 ball. You've got to be able to win. You can go 2-2. That's fine, but you got to be able to win in September. He doesn't even win in September. The first 6 weeks, September and mostly through to October, middle of October, you're learning everything. You're learning what players fit, what role, what players are going to work where. Vic Fangio had to do the same thing. He had rookies he was trying to get into his defense. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. Outstanding corners, and I'm still pissed off. I called it. If you guys had listened to the draft stuff last year, you know that I called Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell as the 2 guys I really wanted. What happened? Philly goes and gets both of them, and they go win a Super Bowl. But what's going to happen now after this year? Well, you were first in defense. Can't really improve on first. You were first against the pass. You were 10th against the run. I mean, you averaged scoring 27 points a game, and you only allowed 18. Your turnover differential was plus 11. 13 interceptions, 13 fumble recoveries, to 6 interceptions and 9 fumbles. You're good. I'm with you. I'm with you, Howie. I'm with you, Jeff. Go all in on your defense, because it will cover all the issues you have and the shortcomings on offense. One of the best offensive lines, hands down. Again. And they do a great job. You saw there, they got 18 free agents. 16 are unrestricted. And at this point, I'm sure you know their names. So, Josh Sweat, one of the big ones. Brandon Graham, he's 37 years old. Brandon, I love you. I remember you playing at Michigan. Come on, retire. You won a Super Bowl. Retire. Zach Bond, they've already re-signed. 3-year, $51 million. Mekhi Becton, 26 years old. Avonte Maddox, corner. CJ Uzama. Milton Williams, the defensive tackle. LaRaven Clark, the tackle. Oren Burks, the linebacker. Isaiah Rodgers, the corner, which I believe because he was on the Super Bowl team, it will somewhat help his value. Altogether, they're going to have like $45 million. Well, I think it's like $42 million in cap space, because they have the 20 and then they've got the jump. Well, Zach Bond, 3 years, $51 million. So that takes a big chunk out. What does this team need to do? Well, honestly, you need to trade A.J. Brown. You need to trade the diva. You need to get the diva out of the building so that next year when Sirianni and Hurts are going back and forth again because Sirianni doesn't have Kellen Moore now. Remember, this happened. Shane Steichen left and Sirianni went downhill. Well, then he gets Kellen Moore and everything's okay, and now Kellen Moore's gone. And listen, guys, he's a bad head coach. Philadelphia just knows they don't have to pay him. And they don't have to do anything. If you're winning, winning cures all. But don't think for a second that Jeff and Howie are stupid and unaware of the reality of everything. I know. There's a lot of people that are like, why would you dump on Sirianni? Because he gets out-coached horribly. Vic Fangio has been a head coach in this league. As the defensive coordinator, he covers a lot of Sirianni's butt. Kellen Moore, calling the plays, covers Sirianni's butt because Kellen Moore understands situational football better. Now he doesn't have it again. You're going to take a step back, Eagles fans. I'm sorry to tell you, and it's not any fault of any of the players. It's going to be because the play calls and the coaching and the management will once again be suspect. And if it is, and Washington beats you in the division, I'm saying if, don't start screaming at me, but there is a Super Bowl hangover. You know that is a real thing. If Washington beats you in the division, don't worry, he won't be your coach. In fact, I could see them going and getting Mike McCarthy to come in and then just continue winning Super Bowls. I think the Eagles have that shot. This is the Rams team with Aaron Donald, but I think financially they're going to be a little bit better off early. It will eventually bite them in the butt. It absolutely will. They've got 7 picks. They're all relatively early. They're going to be able to recoup. I trust this team. I trust this management to be able to draft the right players for this team. If they didn't sign Sweat, if they didn't sign Williams, okay. It's a defensive draft. What am I worried about? I would not, if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm not worried about who they're getting. I believe in them. They've earned that trust. They have absolutely earned that trust. But I don't trust your coach, and I know most of you don't. You loved your defensive coordinator. You loved Kellen Moore. He's gone, and now he's dealing with a whole different issue in New Orleans. So let's touch on that. Today, Derek Carr, it is said, is getting his contract restructured for this season, and next year has a $62 million cap hit. $62 million for Derek Carr. I told you I felt bad for Kellen Moore because I didn't trust the Saints to just have a dead year this year. No, they're going to push it back a year. They're going to make it even worse. I feel for Kellen Moore. I really do. Like I said the other day, Bill O'Brien was a good head coach. Jim Caldwell was a good head coach. Good head coaches are sometimes all you need just to be consistent, just to be relevant, to consistently be there. I don't know if Kellen Moore is going to get a shot. I just don't know if financially he's ever going to have a shot in New Orleans because they refuse to just cut, take a dead cap year, retool, and go at it the next year. That's the problem. Philadelphia is not that way. Philadelphia will probably trade A.J. Brown. You're not hearing about it now, and I think that's purposeful. They just saw what, Geno Smith got as a quarterback. They saw what Deebo Samuel got. The rumor is that the Seahawks want multiple picks for DK Metcalf. They want a first and a third, and I'm like, no. I said you could get a first, but probably a second or a third. A.J. Brown falls into the same category for me. I know Eagles fans won't like that, but the reality is, all it is bombs. Looking at it, this is why I never said Tyreek Hill was that great. This is why certain receivers, I just go, yeah, but he's not technical enough. They disappear once games actually become football games. Yeah, I can throw it up to A.J. Brown against a 5'10" corner. But can he run the route well? And let's be honest, his route running has dropped the last 2 years. He's had a lot of foot and ankle injuries at this point. If the Eagles can get a second, maybe they can get a first. I think they can still get a first. I think Seattle can still get a first, but they got to stop being unrealistic for Metcalf. I think the Eagles can get a first for A.J. Brown. And you know how bad that would be for the rest of everybody else? Because then the Eagles are going to have another first-round pick. I'm not worried about whether or not they've got A.J. Brown because they got Devontae Smith. They got Goddard. Goddard ain't going anywhere. They got that offensive line in Saquon Barkley. They have Jalen Hurts, who is a franchise quarterback. You're just not winning because of him. They've learned how to win despite what he is. The Eagles did what the 49ers 2 times could not do. Using the run, using the defensive line. Brock Purdy failed, and I will give Jalen Hurts credit. When Hurts had to make throws, he made some beautiful ones. I will give him credit for that. He played at Alabama. He played at Oklahoma. He knows how to play big games. Let's not pretend it was his first big game. This team is ready. This team can go on a run. I just don't trust your coach, guys. I just don't trust your coach. And that's my reservations. I think you drop to 11 wins next year, maybe 10. Get out coached again. The defense can only stand so long. The defense can only be your anchor for so long. There is a breaking point. I love this team. Philadelphia. There have been organizations. Philadelphia is a pillar organization. We're going long way back. It's a pillar organization. It gets the attention. It's Philadelphia. It's good when they're good. When they're bad, it's okay. It's fine. Nothing happens. But it's definitely good when they're good. Because Philadelphia fans are diehard nuts. And they should be. Because they have a team that is built to win for years to come. Congratulations, Philadelphia. This Super Bowl was very well deserved. Very well deserved. You dominated that game. It wasn't a fluke. It's how you played the entire playoffs. Well done. Very, very well done. Whew. That is 32 teams. All 32 teams are done. All the snapshots are finished. I can't believe it. I have to admit, I am personally proud to be able to get through this series. I've got a couple more series I'm thinking about for the dead time. We got free agency coming up. We're going to have things to talk about. But I am really, really proud of the Snapshot series. Started out, how it grew through the 32 teams, what it became. I'm really happy with it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it gave you just the snippet you need as a NFL fan, as a football fan, of each individual team. What happened, what could happen, and some maybe crazy things. I'm not going out of the box with Philadelphia because everything they do seems to be out of the box, and everything they do seems to work. So I'm just going to stick with they trade A.J. Brown. They use that cap space to be able to move forward in the future. They may trade him tomorrow. Saturday night, they may trade him tomorrow. I don't know. We'll find out. But I tell you what, well done. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. Thank you for hanging out. Please subscribe. Please like the podcast. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. And I appreciate every single one of you that have listened and watched through this series. Thank you so much. Free agency is right around the corner, guys. We are right around the corner. Tomorrow night, I am still hoping to go live with the free agent special. That's what I'm going to call it. The free agent special before Monday kicks everything off with the legal tampering period. And we'll see what may happen. Geno Smith gets traded to the Raiders. I think that was a huge move for the Raiders, and I think it's a domino that I didn't expect. I thought Geno Smith could get traded, but I thought he was just going to go back to the Giants. I didn't see Las Vegas making that move. And from what I read, they were trying to get an extension done with Geno, and it wasn't working. Geno's only paid $30 million a year. If I'm the Raiders, you know what? I'll give him $35-40 million a year. Sign him to a 3-year deal, maybe only a 2. If I sign him to a 3, that third year is going to be basically no guaranteed money, so that if I have to, I can cut him. But you know what? It'd be worth it. And I think for Las Vegas, it made sense. Seattle may be in a full rebuild, guys. I said they had to figure stuff out in the snapshot. I didn't think they'd go full rebuild. Metcalf's going to go out. this is going to get interesting. They don't have a quarterback now. This is interesting. Everything changes with every domino and flip of a coin that keeps happening. So hopefully tomorrow night I can do the free agent special. If not, it'll be a recording. Sometime tomorrow is when I'll get that done, and I'll release it tomorrow night. But I'm hoping to be able to do it live. The schedule just has to work out to where I've got the time to do so. But guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hopefully your Saturday was fantastic. Hopefully your Sunday will be the same. Make it the best Sunday that you can. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow as we inch closer to the opening of free agency. Congratulations again to the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champions. For Sports Talk with Hawk, I'm Hawk. And until tomorrow, I'm out. Have a good night.